Alright, we're gonna roll.
A year before the moon landing, in 1968, the astronauts on Apollo 8 were the first people to leave our planet for the moon. Their mission was to take pictures of the moon's surface for future expeditions. And as they were taking snapshots while orbiting the moon, there on the horizon, our blue planet suddenly appeared.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. Wow, is that pretty? Hey, don't take that, it's not scheduled. Get a color film, Jim? Hand me a roll of color quick.
Oh man, that's great. Where is it?
Quick.
Hey, I got it right here.
Get up. It's much clearer.
Bill, I got it framed. It's very clear right here.
This was the first earthrise photograph ever taken. And the second picture, which was taken with a color negative, is perhaps one of the most influential pictures ever. For the first time, humanity could see the tiny blue bowl that we were all living on from such a perspective. Beautiful, yes, but small and vulnerable, completely isolated. There were always conservationists and individuals who dedicated their lives to protecting nature. But perhaps before this moment, before going to the moon and looking back down at Earth, the fear of losing this blue marble had not yet fully formed in our consciousness. And so it was that only a year after the moon landing in 1970, a day in the year was dedicated to Earth. Over the years, we have sent many satellites into space, which helped us to observe and better understand Earth's environmental changes and the impact we have had on the planet. But how successfully have we used these observations to preserve Earth in these past 50 years? For the 50th anniversary of Earth Day in 2020, Google Earth released a time-lapse feature where you can see the visible changes on the planet as seen from space. I made this video so we could travel together and see how things have changed in this 36-year-long time-lapse. This is Lake Urumia. Once the largest saltwater lake in the Middle East, it has been reduced to 1/10 of its size since the 1970s. Due to the rising temperatures and dam construction, there is now only 5% of the lake's water remaining. The Bakhtagan Lake in Iran used to be the habitat of birds that migrated here from Russia and Siberia. Today it's drying up like Lake Urumia, which is desertifying the nearby land and turning the waterbeds salty. And then of course there is the Aral Sea, which was devastated when water was diverted from it to grow cotton in the 1960s. Now the remaining water has become polluted, and all the industries that depended on the sea have collapsed. But while the water level in our lakes and waterbeds go down, the water level in our oceans is steadily increasing. Here we can see the ice sheets in Greenland melting away over the past 36 years. And here, on the coast of Alaska, we can see one of the fastest shrinking glaciers in the world. It has retreated for more than 20 kilometers. Another visible mark that fossil fuels have left behind is the site of their extraction. These shallow oil deposits in Canada are some of the largest oil reserves on the planet. They are harvested for our ever-rising demand for energy. The world's population has increased by 2.5 billion in the past 5 decades. 5 decades ago, only 37% of the population lived in urban areas. Today, more than half of the population lives in cities. This is the city of Wuhan, and its growth in the past 3 decades as visible through satellite imagery. This is Shanghai, China's most populated city with 25 million residents. And this is Dubai sprawl, both into the desert and into the sea. More and more of the Earth's natural resources are being consumed by our ever-industrializing nations. This is the Amazon, the largest forest in the world, shrinking to make room for farms. These were only a few of the visible impacts that we've had on the Earth since half a century ago when we promised to protect this planet. What we have done in the past 5 decades may be out of our hands now, but what will happen in the next 5 decades to come, that is still up to us. In the 1990s, we've sent out the Voyager 1 to explore what's outside our solar system. When the mission managers commanded it to look back towards home for one final time, 6 billion kilometers away in space, it captured this image. From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But consider again that pale blue dot. That's here. That's home. That's us.